So I just had an idea. I was thinking about years ago when I first started knife making, like around, first started knife making in like 2006, but this is probably a couple years after that. Probably like around 2009 or so. I remember Bill Moran, I think it was Bill Moran passed away. He was if you don't know who Bill Moran was, he was one of the pioneers of custom knife making in the modern era. I was reading about it when he passed away, and they had an auction, of course, how they do whenever we all die, and they auctioned off his knife making tools and supplies and things like that. And they had found, I think it was in his shop, I think he had a dirt floor in his shop if I remember right, maybe part of it. And they had pulled out some handle material that he had buried years ago. And I guess he buried it to, rot it basically. And I guess he's gonna stabilize it or whatever, making his own kind of unique stuff. I guess that was the point. I thought that was kind of interesting, and I thought, just got thinking, it'd be kind of cool. I like rusted knives. I think they look kind of cool. And so I'm thinking it'd be kind of cool. I have to write this down or I'll forget. It'd be kind of cool to finish out some blades, leave the handles off of them, maybe plastic dip the handles so they don't get corroded with the rest, so I don't have to sand the entire knife because I want to leave the rust on. So I'm thinking finish out the grinds and finish them out completely like I usually do, and then just take them, plastic dip the handles, take them and stab them in the ground and leave them outside in the weather for a year or so, a couple years. Pull them back out and see what they look like, and then refinish the grinds, but leave the rust on the flats. I want pitting. I think it'd be really cool to have rust pitting and that sort of darkened, patinaed metal, steel look. Okie dokie, we're done with the grinds, finally. I'm slow, I'm telling you. So now it's handle time. So I gotta concentrate now on flatting the handle material and making sure that they're good and flat. If they're going, well, of course they're going against the tang, but also if they're going up with spacers, those spacers gotta be flat. If I have spacers, I gotta glue that handle material up now so that I can use it tonight or tomorrow to put on the knife. The hidden tang is gonna drag behind because it just takes so much longer to flat every piece that's gonna be stacked up on that handle, and also to get the holes in it, in the handle material, to stack it up on the handle. So that's gonna take a little time and it'll drag behind, but that's okay. I'll continue that. I'll continue videoing that for you, and you'll see the finished product on that, hopefully. Okay, it's time to redo this thing. It's not getting as sharp as I want it. I think I made it a little bit too blunt in this area right here. Didn't get in this area right here. Didn't get it down to the proper thinness that I wanted to. And so I'm not getting the sharpness I want out of it. So I gotta regrind it. Sometimes that's just the way it is. And that's the thing that I've had to learn as a custom maker of any sort. You just gotta take the time to go back and redo it. It will save you time and frustration in the long run. It doesn't seem like it, but it will. That's my advice. I could be wrong. This Marauder is gonna get standard handle. The Marauder and the Dragon are getting pretty standard handles. The customer likes blue and orange, so I do too. So he said, hey, you just do what you want. So that's always fun. So I came up with one of my favorite combos, which is blue. I've never used the canvas. I've used blue linen micarta, so we'll see how the canvas turns out. I know other makers use it. Then with orange sci-fi space. And I really like those. It really sets the knife off a lot, I think. It gives it kind of a unique look. The Dragon's just gonna get high-vis orange G10 scales with black G10 spacers, 1/8 inch, the thicker spacers. Then you got of course, the aerosol handle. I still have to finish the guard out on it and get it pinned onto the tang, and then that'll be pretty much close to done. I have to cut this lanyard piece off. I don't like that, so I just cut those off. Then I got to figure out how to wrap this thing. And then the very unconventional one is going to be the Z-Sear medium. It's going to have what I call underscales, and so that's just going to be clear plexiglass or acrylic sheet, so the same stuff as this. Looky there, There she is again, the old Black & Decker handy rigamarandy little table clamp thingy. This is what we got. 2-ton epoxy. Yep, mixing cup, mixer, handle material, some alcohol to clean these with, and some clamps down there. And then as Craftman says, wear you some gloves. Got me some gloves, and I'll show you when it's done. It's not that groundbreaking. All right, there it is, all glued up and messy and gross. That's what it looks like. Just 2 pieces of handle material glued together. Okay, now that those are setting up to set up, I can work on the air assault and the other one. I think I'm gonna work on them one at a time so I don't get confused and messed up. So I'm gonna work on the air assault first, get it probably put together and done or set up, and then go to the Z-Series. All right, let's do it. I'm kind of nervous because, like I say, it's not that difficult what I'm doing with these. It's just that I don't do it every day. I'm rambling. I've done this before and I've screwed them up before. Okay, so first things first, gonna cut off this little lanyard attachment. Yeah, it's pointless to me. Don't like it. Cutting it off. Usually do, always do on all of these. So, and then I'll sand that to where it. Then I'll cut that off and then sand it down to where you'll never know it was there, hopefully. All right, gotta make that flat and all pretty looking. Look at that. Just like a dadgum made for it, look. Scoot her up, scoot her back. Oop. Don't pay attention to that. Put her up, don't pay attention to that. Put her up, lean back. You don't want to lean back too far though, you're gonna go all the way over. But you know what I'm saying, it's made for it. Can't tell me that ain't a fine looking piece of equipment. It's uptown, boys. Uptown. So I'm gonna set up the grinder here that you can't see because it's not in frame. And I'm gonna take the leather backed plating off there. Remember the plating that I showed you that had the leather base on it for grinding? I'm gonna take that off or turn it around, whichever. I got a couple of platings back here. To where it's just a steel plating, and I'm gonna grind that butt cap down on that, on the air assault. But I wanted to say, you boys ever tried this stuff? Probably backwards, isn't it? Because I got the camera turned around. It's peach nectar. And I'm pretty sure that ain't Jumex. You gonna get me some Jumex, huh? Drink me some of that there Jumex, boy. Is it Humex? Is that right? Or I don't know. It's Espanol, and I don't know how to speak that. I wish I did. Talked about that before. Is it Espanol? Yeah. Fruta de mi tierra. Tell me that wasn't perfect. That was perfect. What does that mean? Fruit of my, what's tierra? Isn't that thing that princesses put on their head? Fruit of my crown? I'm betting I'm wrong on that one. Okay, get you some of this stuff, it's good. Okay, now we come over to the grizzly, right there. And I take a magic marker, just like always on everything else, and color that in, and I'll just progress through the belt grits and try and clean this up. Ta-da! I have the Golden Girls song stuck in my head. You know the theme song? There's no reason for that. I haven't watched the Golden Girls in 25 years or longer. And I hate it, and it won't go away. So I'm gonna have to listen to some music here, put you guys on hold for a little bit, use my phone for some music, get that out of my head. Okay, there she is, all pinned and screwed on, and there's, like I said, there's 2 pins in there, and then I was gonna put some thread locker in there on these threads, but my thread locker dried out. So I used some JB weld in there and just screwed it down. That should be probably even better than the thread locker. And then next step is to remove this cap and then pour some epoxy down there carefully into that tang slot, I guess you'd say. There's not much gonna seep down in there because it's so tight, but I just kind of feel a little better to have that epoxy kind of at the top, I guess, or I guess covering it, that's the word. the phrase. So then after that, let that set up, and then I will try to wrap it. We'll see. That could be a real mess. Today's been kind of a washout, or like we say around here, a washout. Got started a little late. I don't like to play catch up because that's when I make mistakes, more mistakes. So I'm just gonna get done what I can today. Do I have crumbs on my mouth? Just gonna get done what I can today. Yeah, I'm just gonna get done what I can today. I've gotten scales marked and drilled. I just have to drill the counter bores in them for the loveless bolts. And so then I'm gonna work on these scales, which is the underscales, what I call underscales. Probably won't show you the underscale process, not because of any proprietary nonsense or anything like that. I'll share anything I can, but because I have to concentrate on it because it's a high risk sort of endeavor for me. I've done it several times, but it's always quite a distance in time from when I do it the next time. So kind of have to remember how to do it right, because there is a specific way, for me, there's a specific way to do it without making it look bad or screwing it up. All right, so here's how I set loveless bolts to set the depth on the countersunk. So just take a pair of calipers. You don't have to, it doesn't matter what it reads. Don't worry about the measurement. You know me and measurements, that don't work out. I set the calipers on it, and then I mark that depth with a marker. Can you see it? I suck at this. Yeah, good thing I was never a director. Hole drill in action, here we go. This is exciting. Kind of get a hitter, you kind of got to hit her with a couple coats because that paper really soaks it up. All right, next up, I think, honestly, I don't remember for sure how I've done in the past. Kind of do, but I'm winging it. Next step is to then drill, actually to put the photo paper onto some G10 spacers, and then mark the spots where the holes are for the bolts for the handle material, and then drill through that. And the reason you do that is you have to drill these first, because if you put the plexiglass on top, you epoxy it down, whenever you go to drill this, it's gonna pop it, and you're gonna see like an air bubble around that pinhole or that bolt hole, and it doesn't look very good. Okay, I got those underscales put together. Hopefully it's gonna work. I don't know, we'll see. I'm kind of sketchy on, I'll show you later, but here's what they look like. All right, now you can probably understand why I didn't show you the process, because you gotta have all these accoutrements out here to do this crap. You gotta have Vaseline, alcohol, epoxy, drill, Q-tips, channel locks. You know, this would be easier, of course. I know what you're thinking. This would be easier if I just laid these spacers down in a mold and then poured some clear resin over it and let it set up. But I don't have a setup like that, so this is what it's got to be right now. The reason there's a Vaseline there is because I Vaseline up the loveless bolts on both sides and the nuts, because if you don't, you end up having to pound those out because the epoxy leaks in there, and then you're going to get that separation, that air bubble underneath your scales. So that's what that's for. And these are just, I can show you, these are just one on each side of this wax paper, and then those bolts act like a clamp to clamp them down together. And the wax paper, of course, is just to keep those two separated from each other. So that's my sketchy setup for underscales. I don't know, I'm sure there's lots better ways to do it even without the resin, but that's how I do it. Okay, this is a short day. I gotta go in now and do some pattern drawing, so I'm gonna call it a night. Sorry this one was a little short. It might not be a little short, I might add it onto another video. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I do appreciate it. I'll catch y'all later.